Just to recap last week's game, disappointing in the loss. We had opportunities, specifically, rushing the punter and we're close to blocking a field goal. Could have been a 10-point swing there, but, we got to take advantage of our opportunities. And, I like the way Stoney's punting the ball, and, it was nice to see Matt Wright step up and, make a clutch field goal there right before half. And he did a nice job. And with that being said, we'll see where Nick's at this week, and hopefully he'll be ready to roll.
Matthew Wright come in here. He's been a guy that's kind of made his rounds around the league.
Yeah.
What's that like for a guy, coming in and, just this is his third team this year? What's kind of been his demeanor and his approach in the short time he's been here?
He's been great. He's a pro. He came in. We talk about certain things he likes to do during practice and whatnot. But I guess you could just say he's kind of used to that a little bit. But he's a pro, and he's going to handle his business. And we had the utmost confidence in him last week. And if he's got to go this week, we will too.
What kind of self-review would you give?
Self-review
on your first year in this?
Oh man, that's not something I've thought about. Right now I'm worried about beating the Texans this week and getting the guys ready and prepared to go out and execute at a high level.
I guess with Nick, what do you need to see from him in practices to know, or what does he need to do to say, hey, I'm good to go? You need to see him kick one day, or can he make it through a week?
Yeah, he's going to go today. We're just going to have a conversation. He's going to let me know if he can go or if he can't. And, it's as simple as that.
The forecast for Sunday is nasty at the least. When somebody's been dealing with an abdomen injury and he's a kicker, does that maybe weigh into the final decision, in addition to health?
Maybe a little bit. But at the end of the day, Nick's going to be honest with us. If he can go, he's going to go. Maybe a little bit with the kickoffs, trying to drive the ball down the field a little bit. But if he can go, he's going to go.
It seems like a lot of the issues throughout the year have kind of come to a halt. But what would you say? How do you feel you guys have done adjusting, and what would you say has been the key in limiting a lot of the things that were just simply unacceptable?
Yeah, we've had a lot of growth this year. A lot of young guys have stepped up and have matured, through the season, and excited about what these young guys have done, and they're continuing to grow, and we're going to need them this week to step up.
Or that you've seen that maturation process especially for?
Yeah, out of Gunner, Bryce Oliver's done a nice job. James Williams, Cedric Gray, two linebackers have stepped up and done a nice job. I forgot to mention last week, Cedric Gray had 4 tackles 2 weeks ago, so it was nice to see him step up. 4 tackles on special teams in one day is a big deal. And then on that note, it's huge having Chig, our number 1 tight end on the punt team. Rob shared a clip of me, being mic'd up, and just the energy he plays with on punt is pretty outstanding. And a testament to the type of guys we have on this team, and for him to, play with that energy and fly around and, make plays on the punt team for us is a big deal. And, real excited about him and all these young guys. So
We'll let you know if he can go today, or that Nick will go today and let you know if he can go Sunday.
we plan on having him kick today. With that being said, he'll kick today, and if he feels good, he's going to roll.
That Jaquan Jackson can get another look at returners since this is the last game?
Yeah, we do our big punt return day tomorrow, and so we'll see how that goes. But right now, Mason will go and give Q the opportunity to catch punts tomorrow too.
I know we talked to Brian a little bit about Will and Mason both playing Sunday. Maybe how's that looking in your eyes?
Yeah, they're both going to play. They're both excited for the opportunity. I know Brian will I think he's going to reveal to you guys tomorrow what the rotation is going to be, but they're both really splitting the reps evenly in practice, and they're both excited. So kind of get them a chance to both go play and go compete.
You guys have a play call set for each that they like, or you just have one main one? It's like, okay, if you're in there, you're running this.
So a little bit of both. So we have a big kind of full game plan that way, and then we've got a handful of things kind of marked for each guy. And then situationally, especially, so like third downs, red zone, they're kind of have their favorites and the ones that they feel the best about, we'll go with those. And then a couple of them, they have some overlap plays there too. So, they have them kind of ranked in the red zone, ranked on third downs, and then the first and second down as well. So we'll have a mixture of both. So there's some plays that they both like, that they all fit, and then there's other ones that kind of player specific.
season. Do you feel like you could let it loose a little bit with the play calling and kind of be more aggressive than maybe you would at the earlier in the season, I guess?
I don't know. I mean, a little bit, I guess, but you still don't want. We've had so many disaster plays. Kind of, there's still a good defense out there, and they got good ends. So just to kind of let it go and carefree to the wind. But yeah, there's probably a little bit of, all right, let's just kind of let our stuff hang out, and there's really not a lot of pressure on us, so we can kind of go play loose and play free.
Told us yesterday that those first 48 hours after benching, he kind of felt sorry for himself. It was really hard on him, and then he kind of changed his attitude after that. Can you kind of talk us through what you saw from him in these 2-3 weeks of being sat down, and kind of how you've seen him adjust or react to all of this?
Yeah, I think for any player, to kind of lose your job is tough, right? And kind of get sat down, and that's a hard experience. It's hard to go through. And you look around the league of all the other guys that have gone through it. I think we talked before, Baker Mayfield's been sat down. Jared Goff's been traded. Sam Darnold's moved from team to team. And kind of most of these guys' career paths aren't this linear, just, they go in and they plug and play and they have this Hall of Fame career. So for him, he really, went through it. And I give a lot of credit to Will. And I give a lot of credit to, a guy who was a great resource for him was Trevor Siemian. Trevor Siemian's here. He's been on the practice squad. And, there was one day Will was kind of out there kind of, feeling sorry for himself. And, Trevor, was helped pull him aside and said, hey, I've been through this. This is how this goes. Everybody's kind of watching you. And I thought really Will took all of that to heart and played really well and has really kind of been to the guy we knew he was every day. And you're going to go through those kind of ups and downs when you lose your job and things like that. So I think the leadership he's shown coming through all that has been really nice.
This is our last chance to visit with you. How do you kind of self-evaluate how this first go-round in this role has been?
For myself or just the whole? Boy, I would say there's a lot of things almost daily you look back on and you would do differently, or not do differently, but, I could have done this better, could have done that better. The look at the first 4 games of the year, I think we probably didn't have a good enough feel for who we were, play calling wise, personnel wise, just everything else. We thought we could really streamline it and kind of, they handed me a sheet the other day of some of our stats since the buy-in. We've been a mid-level offense, things like that, if you take out those first 4 games. So I think there's, growing pains for Brian as a first-time head coach, certainly growing pains for me as a first-time coordinator. So, hopefully these lessons help us grow and we can be better next year and especially this spring and start day one at a higher level.
What was it coming out of the bye that seemed to be a turning point for you guys learning that then?
We had a little chance to kind of, you get that we played Miami on Monday and we kind of got a chance just to catch your breath. We kind of watched all our film, went through all our tendencies, but also kind of what we were asking guys to do a little bit. And I think it's hard when, Brian comes from Cincinnati, Bill comes from Cleveland, we all the staff, everybody's got input and all these plays worked against these guys, this, let's try to put these guys in this position. And maybe it just didn't work, and so we were able to kind of streamline some of those things, help the pass protection, and just kind of focusing more on what we did well. And I think we did a good job or a better job, obviously not a good enough job at 3 wins and whatever, 18 points a game or whatever it is. But I think that really helped us kind of steer where we wanted to go.
With Calvin on the cusp of 1,000, how do you balance obviously getting him that milestone, but also staying within the game plan too?
Totally. He's, had a really nice end of the season, right? He had a couple really big games in there. Detroit, he had a big game, had a couple other ones. So, he's always going to be the feature point of the passing game for us right now. He's our most explosive player on the outside. So he's always kind of number one in the progression, a lot of the things he does. So we're going to get him there. And, the quarterback, everybody's kind of aware of it, but we also don't, if you just jam it in there and throw it to him every time, you're not going to have real good results either. So there's a balance. We are all very well aware of that he wants to get it. And, in the kind of season we've had, it'd be nice to have a good accomplishment for a guy who's really handled himself as good as anybody can be going through a losing season and being a new free agent. And, he's just as disappointed as we are winning, but his attitude is really infectious for the offense.
How about Tony? Tony's is different. Tony's is financial.
Yeah.
How much you factor in those 2 touchdowns and I don't know what is it?
Yeah, I think it's 80 yards or something like that, right? It's obviously on the front of your mind. Tony's a little different because he's just hasn't been healthy. So it's if he can go and we'll try to get him there and try to get him some touches. And, I think it'd be helpful for probably both of them. If Calvin's in and Tony's in, they kind of don't know who's kind of getting it. And so it might help us that way if they're both ready to roll. But with financially, you always want to help those guys. And with the way he's given his body to the organization this year and really kind of laid it on line for us, I think we'd love to get it for him.
Think you're rotating right tackles, or you want to lock in with one guy and let him finish the year?
Really, right, today's kind of the big, today's our day, our big work day. We just did a walkthrough yesterday. So right now, I think we'll be a little bit of a rotation, but we'd love to see Ojoku take it and kind of really finish the year strong. He's played really well down the stretch, and then we'll see what JD or Nick Petit and everybody else has got.
With Levis, for improvement, it'd just be simply him not turning over the ball, or would you like to see him be able to go out there, not turn the ball over, and run the offense successfully?
Everything successfully. He had some good games of not turning the ball over. You know what I mean? The last couple kind of got to him, but we want to see him just go play free, complete the ball, operate the offense, kind of have a great end of the season, kind of a last ramp up. I think it'd be good for him, good for his confidence. Like he said, I saw him say the other day, the last time he was out there, it didn't go real well. And I think leaving him with a, good feeling, good taste in his mouth, and leaving all of us with that too would be really nice.
How much will that ending for Will kind of factor into the overall evaluation of him going forward?
Yeah, everything's, we'll take the whole picture when we get to sit down after the season, kind of watch everything, and it's a whole picture. To say one game, if he goes out there and throws, 5 touchdowns, does that mean we're already ready to go back to it? I think that's all premature. We're just going to kind of go take it by week. Everyone can get out of here, take a breath, and really sit back and watch the whole picture and evaluate him.
Guys have made some statistical improvements from what you inherited, but obviously red zone hasn't gone, points haven't gone. How much meaning is there to what you have improved in?
You always want to get better, but there's always room for improvement. Like you say, in this game, it's about points allowed. And we've given up way too many points in the red zone this year for numerous reasons. You look at some of the points we've given up, we haven't been on the field. Some of the points we've given up, we've had short fields. I think the biggest thing about our defense is how do we handle sudden change situations? Because most of the times it's been sudden change situations that have hurt us down in the red zone and just bowing up and getting guys stopped.
How do you feel you have matured and progressed as, the general of the defense in your first year?
Yeah, I think I've grown a lot, being a first-time coordinator, the expectations, creating a style, creating a message, being the same guy every day in front of the players, and then the scheme and trusting everyone to do their job, whether it's the players or coaches. We all grow in that, the ups and downs of the seasons that we've had, just having 3 wins and how you go about your daily routine facing adversity and still having a clear message of where you want to go and still be demanding and hold guys accountable. I think I've grown from that area. And then, as the season ends and we go back and we look at the things that we did well, the things we didn't do well, you incorporate other things into the scheme. And then, when you get some of the players back, it's like you have to change scheme a little bit because Legarius isn't playing. The numerous injuries we had, the biggest thing that, I took from it is because of injuries, I can't always hide deficiencies. And sometimes you got to let it go. And I think I've learned that throughout the course of the year as well.
Brian, I asked Callahan that same question, and he pointed out with those injuries, you still play really well in the secondary, and we know that's your specialty, but have you thought about how you could get that success to kind of extend to the rest of the defense?
Yeah, you know what? In terms of, you look at statistically in the run game, we had 2 really bad games in the run game that kind of skewed the numbers, all right, for whatever reasons, right? Also, in those 2 games, we had different linebackers in playing that week. You go from Jack Gibbons getting hurt when he was playing well to you play a team where you have all your young guys playing. It's their first opportunity. I think that we can be a lot better in the run game. We can be more detailed in the run game. I think that everything we do, we can be better at. And this year has been a building block or a foundation to where we can go. In the first half of the season, we showed that we can play lights out football. I think the injuries did play a lot into the style of play and the playmakers, not being on the field. It hurts your defense. But I think that, when we look at it and we assess everything, myself included, players, the other coaches, I think that we can be even better and we can put it all together when we come out here next year and be a dominant defense.
I guess maybe some of your rookies improved this season. I guess from guys like Devontae to Jarvis, who played a lot, to guys like maybe Cedric, James, Jalen, who played some but not a whole lot.
Right. You know what? The two guys that you talked about, Tavondre and Jarvis, they've grown a lot. Tavondre has played excellent football this year. He's been dominant, at his position. I think that he still has room to grow as a player. I always say it. I think he has more in the tank as a rusher. Jarvis has taken his ups and downs. Last week, he battled. We had him on one of the better players in our conference, and he's taken some lumps. But everything has been a learning lesson from him. Like all the other guys, we've created depth, at positions. And, as you evaluate the team and you add more players to the guys that we have, I think that you become better over time. But I think these guys have battled. They've been battle tested. And we'll see, as the season go next year, as the offseason goes, how do they progress, with the plays that they played.
In terms of just the sack numbers, I know that's not the be-all, end-all of what you want out of the defense, but how much do you feel like the injuries at certain spots have kind of affected your overall ability to get to the quarterback? Like not being able to get coverage sacks because of injuries in the secondary, things like that.
If you're not lining up playing a lot of man-to-man and taking guys off their first read, it becomes harder to get there. But, you look back at the course of the season, you put the tape on, we missed a lot of sacks as well. The numbers don't look great right now, but there's been games where we've had about 3 or 4 games that we just literally missed the guys and haven't put them down. It's going to be a huge point of emphasis of getting to the quarterback after this season. You have to, in order to win and play good defense, you have to affect the quarterback. And that's going to be a self-evaluation of pass rush games we've done. How have we deployed guys? What's their best position to be in? What's their best move? So all of that stuff is going to come into account. But going into the offseason next year, that's going to be a huge point of emphasis. How do we destroy the line of scrimmage and put the quarterback down?
When you do that self-evaluation with pass rush, do you kind of expect there to be more about tweaking scheme stuff, or do you think it's more personnel related?
Everything's on the table. Everything's on the table. If you're not getting there, scheme, we'll look at that. It's not about scheme, it's about the players, it's about adjusting to them. And then also, you're going to have a period of time where you evaluate the players. And obviously, it's a new cycle, the draft, free agency, whatever. And, as an organization, we're all on board and just getting better. And whatever we have to do, whether it's scheme, whether it's coaching, whether it's players, it's all about getting better because 3 wins aren't good enough. And our objective next year is to come out and stack on what we've learned, the foundation that we've set in terms of the culture, and come out here and win some football games.
What's a week like for you when you don't know exactly who's going to play for them, maybe how much some of their guys are going to play?
Oh, it's the same process. For me, it's attack what they do. Scheme-wise, they're not going to change what they do a lot. They have a system and they've been running it and they're efficient at it. And whoever goes out there, they're just nameless faces. We line up and play.